Okay, morning everyone. Welcome to the briefing on Friday the 18th of November. Obviously pre-recorded, this one's going on YouTube. This weekend we'll be pre-recording them and we should be back to live briefings on Monday now. We've resurrected our Zoom account, thanks to being very cleverly locked out of it for a week. Up Zoom, don't you? Security features. So what do we got today? Well, faint ridge of high pressure starting to build out to the west of us, but this low in the fronts here really are lurking for a couple of days, but not going to affect us. North of England, Scotland, really going to take the brunt of that weather. We've just got possible cloud features, but I think that won't be anything by this afternoon. We're just in a west northwesterly flow for today. Isobars not that close together, so it will be 10-12 knots on the ground, maybe 20 knots at flying heights, maybe a little bit more. I think very westerly on the ground, touching northwesterly a little bit higher up. And then tomorrow you can see that this front's still trailing around here, but there's still a weak ridge of high. So again, quite a nice day. It's going to get quite cold this coming up evening and overnight by the looks of the forecast, and then rolling into the weekend back into a westerly airflow, a little bit unstable. So TAF's short and sweet 240. I think the forecasts have been showing sort of 250, 260, about 10 knots on the ground. Few at 4.5. Yeah, I think we're going to see cumulus today, and I think we'll see some local soaring. Also reasonable local soaring, hopefully. Looking at the sort of top meteo forecast anyway. I haven't looked at the actual ascents. I'm not going to go into that much detail in November. And upper winds, yeah, I've got a touch of northwesterly in them. So other forecasts showing a little bit less than that, 20 knots round us. I think it'll be about right. 280, 290. So west, very slightly northwesterly for the day. I think that's not going to influence our sort of runway choice, how we set up. We'll just see when we get actually on the airfield. Sat pics nice and clear at the moment over us. Smack in the middle of this lovely gap, you can see the swirl of the low pressure in the cloud over the north of England, northeast coast, and this is just a rash of showers that are sat over Wales and the west of England. As you can see here, they're typical. They'll come in off the sea, over the land, dry out, and amount to nothing really. They won't reach us, and it's going to be hopefully shower free. Not going to be warm. A week ago we were seeing sort of 15s and 16s, and now they're suddenly down to 8s and 9s, wind direction. So I reckon 10 degrees be about right, but it will feel a bit nippy in that cold wind. 10 knots. Top meteo, nice and clear, exactly like the sat pic. And as the morning goes on, sort of 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, we should start to see cumulus building up. Just a little bit of spread out there, so 4 to 6 8Q, not the few that Farnborough are forecasting. And height wise for soaring, obviously it's not going to be 700-800 meters, so 2,500 feet, but hopefully soarable. We'll get something out of it, but not a bad day. And again tomorrow, looks like we'll be okay. I'm not sure why they've got this painted in here. The other forecasts are showing that much further to the east of us. Okay, so yeah, quite a nice day today. wind pretty much down the runway, and pleasant all day. So airspace wise, what have we got? Well, the answer is not really a great deal. Number 18 is just, you know, clay pigeon shooting or bird shooting, almost inside Odium's, well, definitely inside Odium's ATZ, almost inside the airfield, so they've no-tammed that. But that really is about it in terms of airspace around here. One thing going on, there's going to be a Navajo for about half an hour, around 12 to 1 o'clock, doing a line survey over the airfield. So that's going to dictate when that starts our lunch break. And what they're doing is they're surveying the tree lines, because they need to assess that for the jet movements, so they can start working out where they need to have cutbacks on the trees. So it'll be flying fairly low level, I think, over the airfield, what I can tell. It should only take half an hour, maybe a little bit longer than that. It'll just be a convenient lunch break. We'll stop winch launching, but we may continue aero towing around it. And that really is about it. There's no jet movements. Certainly haven't seen any flight plans filed so far today. So it should be quiet on the 2EE front. Operationally, I haven't been out on the airfield for a few days, so I don't know what the grass is like. I'll take a look out there fairly shortly, and we'll make a decision on how we're going to set up. If the grass is soggy, then we'll have our launch point here. And I think initially we'll do winch on the south side, cables coming down the south side edge grass, gliders on the runway, and the launch point vehicle just on the northern edge of the centre line, with the aero towing off the north side. And if we find that that northerly upper wind causes cable drift, then we'll just rotate the operation and put the cables on the north side. If the ground's fine, we'll go back to this operation. So if we're avoiding the grass, it's a fairly standard setup. Circuit to the south, you can either land on the southern grass or on the runway. Circuits to the north, you stick to the northern grass. So we don't have exact mirrored circuits, the same landing area. So runway landings will always be circuits from the south. Okay, folks, well, you should get this video roughly at 9 o'clock on YouTube, or a little bit before. And then once you watch that, we'll be out opening the hangar and getting going.